Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't have any celebration planned, but this is the 50th session.
Hey.
Whee!
Why don't we go ahead and start
We
with...
we lasted 50 sessions.
We did. We were posing a real threat of actually finishing the whole campaign.
Hey.
Why don't you say hello, Joey? Joey.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, Spooky.
I said, why don't you go ahead and say hello?
Sorry. I got a beep from my headset telling me that I wasn't. Whenever you turn up the volume too high, it makes a beep sound, so I didn't hear you. But yes, hi. I am playing Connor Leone, and the group's mechanic and trauma boy.
And Terry?
One of several.
Hello, I'm Terry. I play James, nerd, medic, youngest in the group.
And Brian.
And I'm Bri. I play Birdie, the one who tends to dive headfirst into bad decisions.
Boy, that's a turnaround, huh?
Uh-huh.
So, do you remember what happened last time?
Been a
Went
while, I
around,
don't.
got a lot of questions asked and answered.
Mm-hmm. You got every official source confirming the official story of the massacre of the Carlisle expedition. You also met a man who told you, no, it's not the Cult of the Bloody Tongue, it's the Cult of the White Gorilla, and I know their headquarters. And Connor made an amazing history roll. Apparently, he is particularly interested in adventures into the Congo. He's able to come up with a few more details about that. And I think your plan was next to visit Johnstone, Kenyatta.
Let me... We were either going to be doing that, or we were going to be doing the seance, because I did not want to do the seance without Terry.
We can jump ahead to the seance. We were leaving off, I believe, in the afternoon of Friday, and the plan was to do the seance Saturday evening. There's no trouble with jumping to it. Just as long as, I mentioned this before, but do have some idea in mind of what you actually want to gain from the seance before you do it.
Yeah. Okay. Who else did we have talk with?
Are you asking who you did talk to, or who's still on your list?
Let's see. Looking at the looking at the list of who we still got to talk to.
All right.
So we've got Kenyatta was one. Nelson.
Yes, Nelson, the mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Mariga, who seems to be some sort of railway worker, and it's not. Hammer didn't write down what information he got from Mariga, but he did write his name down.
Yeah.
And there was Dr. Horace Starrett at the hospital and mission school.
I'm gonna say we should save Mariga for last, just in case the information he got was that he was a bad guy.
Okay. You have reasons to be suspicious of people at this point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, and you also... One other thing. The lady at the newspaper, Natalie Smythe Forbes, mentioned
Yes.
a woman by the name of Ton Carr, a tea peddler who she felt was a little too familiar with Sir Aubrey of the Carlisle expedition.
Yep.
Yes. And we should probably make ourselves familiar with her at least.
And anytime you feel like it, too, you have a safari planned.
Uh-huh.
Yep, I signed my friends up to it very non-committally, though. I'm a good friend. Hey, you
Yes,
remember
you
that
are.
crazy British man that shot a hole in the ceiling? Yeah, I just had a long conversation with them, and I think we should go out and go camping with them with guns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Totally not endangering our lives whatsoever.
Not at all. By far my favorite call that I've ever made.
Not the,
As long as you don't go out at night, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just do everything he
Yeah,
says.
Don't go to the viewing platform.
we're gonna go to the viewing platform.
We're gonna go to the viewing
Oh,
platform.
you're allowed to go to the viewing platform. He just said don't stay there overnight.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do that.
God.
I don't remember if I mentioned before, but NPCs in this game get custom skills based on what they are. And some of them are really wonderful. Like the Black Rhino has a custom skill that's called Be Annoyed, and he's really powerful in that. And
I love that so much.
And Colonel Henry Endicott, the loud Englishman, is very skilled in bluster and leer.
Ooh. Ooh. It's a yikes from me, y'all.
Oh yeah. Now, you understand this isn't necessarily lustful leering, but it is an unpleasant look no matter what.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should leave him on the viewing platform.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Listen, I've had enough with sacrifices. We're not sacrificing this man.
Aww.
I had to sit there tied up while a looking dragon just ate a man.
Fair. But this time we'd be the ones picking the sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like being there.
It's cool. It's okay if we do it. That's the thing.
And Connor saw an old lady sacrificed in Egypt.
Yeah, I witnessed that. And instead of being outraged, I immediately turned around and started the ritual of just beating the shit out of people.
You joined the madness. It was the only way to survive.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta blend in with the crowd. Yeah, that's some life
Ignore the
advice,
fact that-
kids.
Ignore the fact that you blended in a little too well.
Yeah.
But, okay. So, who would like to go talk to the last local official, and then perhaps the, person at the hospital?
Yeah, that sounds like
Or
a
maybe
good-
we
Yeah,
should go
we
to
can
the
do that.
hospital first so that, Terry can actually talk
Yeah.
to somebody a little bit more. Since you're a field medic and all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe
Yeah,
there's
let's-
some medicine I can learn about. Some poisons if there's anything out here poisonous, I can figure out how to treat right away.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, let's go speak with Starret first. In that
Okay.
case.
Let me see. I think I actually don't have a scene for this. We'll just be staying on this scene.
How rude! How could you not have something prepared for everything? Oh, I'm
Not-
sorry.
Not every scene requires the possibility of shooting in it.
Lies. Utter lies.
So
Slander.
This is going to require you to travel into Swahili Town, which is the section of town that is mostly ramshackle huts.
Okay.
As you move away from the hotels and government buildings, it becomes clear that class is mostly signified by the type of roofing that you have and how well it deflects the rain. So people who are better off might even have shingles or a metal sheet, and people who are a little worse off have rolled up grass on top of their huts. A lot of people in this area of town don't speak English, but asking for the mission school or the hospital, eventually you can make your way there. It is a larger building. This one is an actual building. There was some money behind the mission. And you will walk in to find a 60s, like early 60s, Englishman treating some patients. You can see that he's actually really good with the children. He takes his time talking to them, making the needle zoom around before coming in to give them their shots and everything, and keeping them laughing the whole time.
Aww. Okay, so maybe we don't bring up the cult stuff to him.
Now let's do it right in front of the kids too.
God. Excuse you. I don't believe I gave you an invitation.
But
I know. You're whiny.
he will finish up with the patients he's seeing at the moment. This is a little loud. I'm going to drop the volume down. And then he will come over to greet the group of you and say, how can I help all of you today?
Sorry,
you
that was a
did
little
get very
muffled.
muffled.
Sorry? How's this?
A lot better.
Better.
Much better.
He will come over to the group of you and say, how can I help you today? I'm sorry, I'm Dr. Horace Starret.
I'm James.
Nice to meet
Pleasure.
you,
You can
James.
call me
Call.
Brody.
Call me Connor.
Well met, all of you. Is anyone injured?
No, we're actually relatively new to town, and we were hoping to speak to you about anything in the area that we might need to keep an eye out for that would be particularly dangerous,
Dangerous?
aside from the animals.
Well,
Anything like
there's-
poisonous.
Ah, plants and the
venomous.
like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if and how to treat them if say we at all make the mistake of interacting with it.
Well, there are the spiders. There are some plants that it's better to stay away from, and of course there are snakes all over the place. The larger snakes, you don't have to worry about venom so much as they like to squeeze you to death. But if you see smaller snakes, then be very cautious. Keep your distance from them. I don't have a whole lot of anti-venom on hand. I can sell you some regular medical supplies if necessary.
Alright.
I do have a pretty well stocked here, and I have a good connection to bring more in if necessary. Are you planning to go deep into the bush?
Well, a friend here did arrange a safari for us. I'm just going to give Connor a look.
Ah, is that
Connor
with
shrugs.
Colonel Endicott?
Yes.
Yes, I've never been myself. I've heard some people were. I mean, there lots of people go out there. I've heard some people were very satisfied. I hear
Only
you're
some.
pretty much. Well, I'm. That wasn't intended as a slight. I don't speak to everyone.
Fair.
If you have any need of petroleum jelly, opium, I do have some bandages and antiseptics here.
Alright.
We just wish to be as prepared as possible for this journey.
Yes, there are. It's wise to be prepared and to be cautious. There are a lot of deaths around here. It's dangerous territory. This is not. This is not like being in London.
No. It's not like London. It's not like New York.
I should hope not.
And I
More
have a
similar
feeling
than I
this is
think,
definitely not going to be like Egypt.
Well, you really have traveled, haven't you?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we're helping do research for a friend's book.
Yes. What's the book about?
Have you perchance heard of a man by the name of Jonathan Hammer?
Yes. He. Yeah, he was actually here earlier this year, or late last year, sometime recently. I think he was interested in the Carlisle expedition.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
That really was a tragedy.
Would you happen to have any information on that, by the way?
Well,
His notes were a little unclear.
Ah. Yes, he was writing everything down in one notebook. I haven't really done research to do a book myself, but it seems like it could be easily lost. I can tell you pretty much what I told him. I met them. I met the group when some of them came here to. As I said, I supply a lot of expeditions with medical supplies. They came and purchased some before they headed out on their own safari. They went a little deeper than Colonel Endicott would take you, but I believe they actually went out with him for a couple days themselves before they met their untimely ends. Unrelated, of course.
Really?
Colonel Endicott is not nearly so deep out in the brush as they were.
I do have a question.
Yes?
How are the reeds?
Reeds. What's your mother's name?
I believe I went with Elizabeth Reed.
Okay. There was an Elizabeth Reed. She was she. You know, if she was on the ocean, I would call it seasickness, but she was just generally rather ill. She asked for, I gave them some medicine to help reduce nausea. That's the only Reed I remember. She was Ms. Masters, Miss Hypatia Masters was taking care of her, acting as something of a nurse for her.
All right.
His master's was very generous in her donation to the church. I have to say I was very grateful for that.
That's good to hear.
I did participate in the medical examination of some of the bodies that were returned her for burial. It was not a normal autopsy. They were torn quite to shreds. But the timeline that we were given, that they had been lying there for several months, I don't really understand it. They were in astonishingly fresh condition. I would have expected them to be devoured by animals or thoroughly rotted during the time before they were recovered, but it was...
Were they clearly identifiable?
Oh no, by no means. There was, at least the people that I was inspecting. No, we're talking pieces of bodies.
I'm gonna be blunt. Do you think that the men who were hanged for the massacre could have possibly done something that severe?
Well, it's an interesting question. Through ordinary human might, I don't see how anyone could have done it. It's a bit of an eerie conclusion, but I feel it confirms my faith. Supernatural evil is really the only conclusion. I feel certain that they met with a brush with the devil's hand.
Is it possible that the bodies that were recovered weren't actually from the expedition at all?
Well, that's an interesting question.
If they weren't easily identifiable.
I can say that there were no Caucasians among the dead who I inspected. But the expedition did hire quite a lot of bearers before heading out into the bush. Locals who carried their gear for them. As I said, I wasn't the only one working on these medical examinations, so I assumed that the principal members, the foreigners who came to actually run the expedition, weren't among the bodies that I inspected. I was not able to make a positive identification of anybody.
Now that's interesting.
Yes, I think your friend Mr. Hammer found that interesting as well.
The gentleman over at the government house seemed quite positive that the remains were from the expedition and that the core members of the expedition were very deceased and among the dead.
Well, I can't speak to what other information they have or who else might have examined those particular bodies. I'm sure they have their own experts on staff. They did, out of consideration for the dead, they did ask me to keep my report vague on the identity of the bodies. So I don't know if more information would be in their records or not.
At least not the records they showed us.
Well, then it sounds like you know more than I do on that point.
We have, in fact, actually been to the government house and seen some of their records. Whether or not they have more that they are not inclined to share is another matter.
That is possible. There is. It's a delicate situation. Not all of the locals are happy to be under foreign rule.
Well, I think I can appreciate that.
I don't get political myself. I'm just here to serve the injured and the ill.
Of course.
It's best to stay away from those complicated subjects.
Yes, it doesn't help.
It keeps the pace.
It doesn't help my patients with their recovery, so it is not my concern.
Yeah, Connor completely agrees with the idea that, yeah, politics, no, don't worry about that. That's
Don't
too
wor-
complicated.
Don't worry
That
about
ruins
politics.
my bliss.
I just hate the British. Yeah.
He is unfortunately British.
Yep.
I just don't do
Yeah.
accents.
Yeah.
I'm
I
everybody here who actually speaks English is either British or a local.
Well, there are Indian workers who have been imported by the British as well.
Fair. Very fair. But unfortunately, everybody's being ordered around by the British.
Yes. I'll let you know. That is. I'm afraid that is all the information I have on the expedition itself.
Oh, well, that's more than enough for me. Certainly confirmed a few suspicions I had.
Answered some questions I've had.
Because frankly, until we can identify a doctor who did in fact examine the bodies of the core members of the expedition, I'm working under the assumption that they aren't dead at all.
You're saying this to the doctor?
Yes.
Well, that is
We found a couple rumors that at least 2 of them are alive.
I would say don't be too hopeful in that regard. The state of the bodies that I examined, I find it difficult to believe that anyone survived that massacre. But God is good, and I will certainly pray that you're correct.
God is good, but the devil is strong.
I cannot deny it. Is there anything else I can help you with? I'm afraid I do need to get back to my patients.
James, do you have some more supplies that you'd like to pick up for us?
I think just restocking, getting the supplies that we kind of need for just either doing an expedition or doing the I'm trying to remember what it was called again.
Safari.
That the safari that we got signed up on. Just pretty much making sure that we have enough supplies to, again, in case of spider, any of that stuff, just make sure that we're okay. Possible
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, if you just
Do
want
do
general,
quick patches.
if you want general medical supplies, he will stock up your little first aid kit with painkillers, nausea medication, bandages, antiseptic.
Sweet.
it is definitely going to fall under your expenditure per day. We don't have to worry about it.
Nice.
Do you have any other questions for him, or are we wrapping this part up?
I don't think we have any more questions for him.
Probably leave it at that.
Let's see. There we go. All of the stuff he told you is now visible.
Yay!
And as evening is coming on, what are you up to?
I think we should go and get something to eat and possibly try to rest our weary heads for the evening because we've done quite a lot of talking
Yeah.
for one day.
No problem. You can go back to your hotel.
Well, actually, we were out and about. Do we still have that feeling at all that there's an eye on us? That someone's watching us?
You don't feel like you've completely, like, you still have an eerie feeling. But that sense you had back in, what was it, Mombasa, isn't here. Like, in Mombasa, you felt like somebody was actively following you. Now, it's more of an eerie feeling as a result of, after that, somebody set the train on fire trying to kill you. And so you're a little bit on the watch for when something like that is going to happen again.
Especially because there have apparently been a couple of mysterious fires.
Yes, there have.
Then, while we're probably eating, I will suggest that we do like a little switch, little shift. Have at least maybe like one or two people kind of just up and around for like an hour or two. Just to keep watch and make sure no random fires happen.
Okay. Let me do this. When you head in, when you head into the hotel after your meal, there are people around. But, Connor, you're gonna particularly notice there is one lady sitting at the bar watching the door. And when the group of you come in, she looks directly at you, and she does the come hither motion with her finger.
I turn to look at Birdie and just. Oh, it's gonna bug me if I don't know. I'll be back.
You don't have to go alone. You can choose to ask the others to come with you, but it's up to you.
Like Birdie can insist, but Connor's like, I'll be back. I gotta figure out why. Because with Connor's appearance, he doesn't get to come hither.
Birdie just narrowing her eyes.
I can get the table if you just want to follow.
Oh, this is after dinner.
Oh, this is after. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm 100% going to follow. Not going to stand right over there, but I'm just going to follow, and I'm just going to kind of like watch and maybe listen from a distance.
There's a full table.
Hey, want to play some pool?
Perfect.
Cool.
Connor, as you approach the bar, she says, "What will you drink?"
I would love a whiskey. Neat.
She nods to the bartender and he starts preparing it for you. And she says, "It's lovely to meet you, Connor. I'm Sharifa."
Nice to meet you too. He shakes her hand. So,
No, none of that.
how about you've come across my name?
Well, don't act like a stranger. You were there when I was reborn.
Oh, I wasn't I?
Yes.
You look a whole lot different. Connor,
Well-
Connor, being as casual as he can with that kind of news.
Uh-huh.
You
Well,
look a whole lot different now.
well, I'll admit to you, this is not my body. I have borrowed somebody local to you. Just so we can have a conversation.
Yikes.
It seems that you're looking into something where we might have a common interest.
And what would that be? Connor accepts his glass at this point. And his hand is a little shaky while he takes his first sip. Because, yeah, he is talking to something way more powerful than him. But he's trying to keep a semblance of calm and cool.
Yikes. Big yikes.
She of course notices your hand. She says, "This is a lot to take in, I know, and I'm not going to demand an answer from you right now. I'm sure," she looks over at the pool table, "I'm sure you and your friends will want to discuss this. But
Oh, absolutely.
I have certain plans for this world. And some other people have very different plans that will not allow me to complete my own goals. I would like to be in charge of a functioning world. And some other people would like to remove humanity from the face of the earth."
Like that, like the fellow that I am vaguely attached to,
Yes.
if you catch my drift.
Yes. Well, some of his aspects. He himself doesn't care, particularly. But there is a priestess down here who is vital to the conspiracy to overthrow the earth.
Before I agree to anything, Connor takes up a drink and takes another sip, and he says, "What kind of vision do you have for this world? If I may be so bold."
I haven't fully decided yet. When I was here so long ago, the world was much smaller. Ruling Egypt was ruling the majority of the known world. I don't think I fully understand what your world is like. And I'll need to understand it better before I decide if I care about more than Egypt or if that will still be enough for me.
So you wish to learn more about the world while also helping us prolong its existence until you decide what you wish to do.
Precisely. Now, I'm not going to travel with you or anything. That would be uncomfortable for both of us. But I will be back here in 2 nights' time. So that you'll all have some time to discuss it with each other. And we can discuss then what exactly I can do to help you. But you will need to... If you figure out... If you find this other priestess, and if you can give me a location, I can exert my influence to help protect you.
That sounds like a fair exchange.
I thought it might be.
So you're offering a tentative alliance until we discover what we truly wish out of.
Yes. Yes, and if something more long-term would be beneficial to both of us, I'm open to it. But for now, I think we begin with where our interests definitely lie.
I do have a question that doesn't really relate to this. Is this, he gestures to the woman, will they be okay after you do what you do and leave?
Oh, yes, most likely. As long as nobody harms her.
Ah,
I don't. There's no benefit to me to killing her or anything like that.
oh, just something to clear my conscience.
Oh, of course. Well then, I
But,
thank you for your civility. Not everybody is quite this open-minded.
Birdie's standing by the pool table just glaring daggers.
I try to be as open-minded as possible. It keeps you alive the longest.
She is going to finish her drink and head off into the night.
2 more. He looks at the bartender.
Well, as she's going over there, I'll probably say, head over there.
Yep, joining
Yeah.
Connor at the bar.
Yeah, Connor's already got his face in his hand. He's got 2 more drinks coming. He's drinking a little bit quicker than the natural savoring that you know him for.
Birdie
So,
just pats him on his shoulder and squeezes a little bit.
So we were friends from Egypt.
Lovely.
From I'm taking it, the days you were gone for a while.
Yes, whenever I took on that lovely hike through the desert.
Hmm.
So, he's actually starting to scratch his knuckles again. And he'll say very calmly, they wish for us to have a deal to work together for now, to deal with something that wishes to end the world sooner. Or end our trip sooner, sorry. Pardon the lack of tact.
Birdie is gonna notice him scratching at his knuckles and is just gonna reach over and like grab his hand and just hold it between hers. All right. And what might the benefit be to making a deal? With this
They
hang?
give us some protection and they point us the right direction to get rid of the fecker that's doing something here that's going to cause a lot of problems in the future. I genuinely think what she wants is to prolong the world, or the world as it is, until she understands it well enough to change it and what she wants. So she's just offering us time, is what I'm thinking.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Yeah. I might be amenable,
Question.
but I yes.
Who is she?
She didn't
Is she-
say, but this is the lady. This would be Queen Nitocris, resurrected.
Yeah.
From,
Yeah,
I-
this is
I'm
the
asking-
lady that I.
James
Yeah.
is just asking Connor, like, who is she exactly? How do you?
okay.
It's Remember the party I was invited to. I I witnessed her being. I witnessed her new fashion available, and she has become, new to the world. If you would understand what I'm saying.
Not at all.
Are you talking about the mummy?
And I look at the bartender.
Nobody's paying attention
Bart-
to you.
Nobody's party. Okay, Connor's going to lean forward and says, "It's a fucking god that we're dealing with right now. Lady Nitocris, or whatever her name was. I saw her during that ritual. I watched her become anew, and she's here now, and she knows that something's happening here."
Oh,
And
Let me get
And-
this straight.
Mhm.
So she came here and made a deal with you, or to go and ask about making a deal with you. Hold on, did you take this deal, or we just?
no, never again will I say yes without you knowing. I
Okay.
promise. What happened is she gave us 2 days time to come back to here, same time, and tell her yes or no. And I think it's better for.
And what we
And I
get
think it's
is we
better
get
for all of
protection
us.
from her
And she points
to
us where
stop
that
someone
guy
else
is.
who wants to shorten our journey quicker.
More like summon another terrifying thing like her into this world is what I'm getting at. Something much worse. But that's just my gut.
all right.
See, I don't think powerful things like company.
Is this her working with just us, or is this also our pharaoh friend also working with her on this?
It seems like she just wants. It seems like she's on her own. She did not even reference the Pharaoh or anything above her. She is speaking of ruling herself.
All right, so we've got more questions.
We do. We absolutely do. But in the short of it all, it might be best for us to say yes. But I will not agree to anything. And he's looking at Birdie whenever he says this, without you telling me.
If you think it's our best bet, then I trust you.
And he like looks at James and says, I have agreed to a lot of things. I have done worse things, but I've always done the things that I've done to make sure that we make it one day longer. I don't know if this is the right choice, but it feels like the right choice.
How much do I know about Nitocris?
You would
At
know.
least like history wise.
There's a story. She was definitely a real queen of Egypt. Not much was written about her at the time, But there was a story written about her sometime after her death by Herodotus that describes her husband being murdered by conspirators, after which she threw a party for all of the conspirators, invited them all to a feast, where they were all poisoned. And at the climax of it, as they were all dying, she took her own life because she knew, other people are going to take revenge on me for this. But she was crafty and powerful and vengeful.
Okay.
Which is why we're being very nice in how we discuss her.
I think as long as we don't get on her bad side. And we do everything nicely and correct, we should be able to make it out of this fine. So if she's offering protection to get rid of something worse,
I will say,
I will take it.
I will add, whenever I brought reference to the figure that I am tentatively related to, she showed no real interest in them, only in me and our deal.
Yeah, she implied that the god she serves, the god you serve, ultimately don't really care which side comes out on top.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really... Yeah. The figures that we're dealing with that are above even her seem to not really care what's happening right now. But we're dealing with
reassuring.
something... We're dealing with something on her level instead.
Lovely.
So hey, I mean... It's a less powerful thing than what we were dealing with beforehand. Connor the Optimist.
I still have about 100 more questions about everything, but if she's inclined to help us and not smite us where we stand, then I think this is probably going to be a deal we'll want to take.
We've got some more time to consider it too.
Yeah, we've got 2 days. And Connor, whenever we are about done with this conversation, he pours half of one drink into his first drink, slides the third drink over to Bruni, and gives the half drink to James.
I'm not even gonna sip it, I'm just gonna...
Just down it.
Yep.
I don't think James is gonna make that mistake. He's gonna pull a Connor though, and he's gonna savor it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
nah.
nice.
Birdie doesn't like anything but her own brew. But she needs a drink.
I don't think James is gonna be. You can tell that he's not exactly a fan of it, but he's still gonna do it.
And Connor is going to look. Does Connor know about James's friend?
Which friend are we talking about?
We're
Bast.
talking. We're talking about Bast.
Okay.
Do I know anything? Do I know that he's related to Bast now in some minor way? I don't think you made that public. You just have a cat
no,
now.
I just I have a cat. I have like a little necklace pendant.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. whatever. You got that from
No,
like,
no one's questioned. Hey, where did you get that from?
no,
Everybody
you
was
just got
buying
it
all
from
sorts
the
of
fr-
souvenirs.
Yeah, I got
We
like
know that-
clothes.
We know that there was a lady who appeared as cats, and we know that the cat goddess was very upset about that stuff getting stolen. That's all we know. You haven't
Yeah,
told us that she actually met with you.
Okay, so Connor will not say anything about Bass. Because as far as he's concerned, that problem is done.
It honestly
Yep.
is. The scrolls
Yeah.
were
It is.
returned. She was happy.
Mhm.
Something went well for once.
Right.
Okay.
Connor will say, we've already dealt with 2 gods? 2 of them? 3? Do we count her as a god now? Or is it a... I don't know much about religion.
Higher power.
Eh.
Higher than we are.
Frankly, there's plenty of things out there that claim to be gods. Oh, bunch of damn haints. I'm gonna order another whiskey and shotgun that one too.
All right. So Birdie's not the one taking first watch.
Oh yeah. Connor's
She can
absolutely...
take first. She can
You got-
take first watch.
There, I am sure that the Oswalds and Jean can handle it.
Yeah. I'll probably be the one to keep first watch because Birdie's waking up with a hangover and going to sleep first.
2 shots? Absolutely not.
Shots. I said shots. I was thinking like glasses of whiskey instead.
No,
Yeah,
no,
shots.
Two shots.
There-
Yeah, Connor would be. Yeah, if
I
it's
would
shots,
assume
Connor
that
would
yours
have-
is still a cup and you just gave me half of it.
Yeah.
See, Bry can do 16 shots in a night and not be hungover the next day. Somehow.
That
Birdie
won't last too much longer.
Yeah,
It
no.
won't. It really won't. Birdie is both younger than I am and does this shit for a living. She can absolutely handle 2 glasses of whiskey.
True. And she is built like a shit brick house.
Yup.
And it's a pulp game, so you're tough, not alcoholic.
Yup. She doesn't have a problem. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's good thing. But yeah. So yeah, Connor feels good that the first time he's talked before he's made a decision, or was
Nice
put
job.
in a situation where he could talk before he's put in a good situation. So he's happier, like, but his hands are still itching because he knows she's here now, and
Uh-huh.
he's remembering flashes of that ritual and shit. Yeah.
Birdie is holding on to one of your hands and just keeping it clasped between her own to try to help.
Yeah, so he's just fidgeting and tapping the glass with the other hand.
Ugh.
Yeah. That is a terrible scene. But yes.
Horrifying.
The next morning will come eventually.
Alright.
Are you going to do anything today, or are you just waiting for the evening to do your seance?
I think we're talking about meeting one more person.
Going and seeing that official, I think.
A Kenyatta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenyatta.
Now, this isn't going to be a sensitive thing exactly, but Johnston Kenyatta is a real person. He was a major political figure in his country. He was president of his country as late as the 70s. So
Okay.
this is, I know not a whole lot about the man, so this is not going to be an accurate representation of him.
Okay.
But at this time, he is one of the founding members of the Kikuyu Central Association, which is a native group trying to. They're a political group that both provides educational services and helps get food to their native tribe, the Kikuyu, and also represents them to the British government.
Okay.
So when I say he's an official, he is a government official. He is not in the British government. He is in tribal government.
Okay.
But
Oh, come on. All right, hold on. I'll be back.
okay.
Birdie and Connor are invisible for me.
Might need to reload.
Everything's invisible for me.
Are you on the lower left-hand corner of the screen? Like right there.
Yeah, I can see my
I can see the mark, but everything's black except for a door.
Move around a little bit. Does that help?
Nope.
Okay.
There's another door.
Let's see. You have vision enabled. And we have global illumination. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to turn off token vision on this sheet so you can just see everything.
Hey, there we go.
I don't have like people hidden around the corners to shoot you, so it doesn't matter on this one.
that's what you say,
Okay.
but I know you can make things invisible.
Sometimes I map something out like this just so that it's not immediately obvious when you're on a map where you do have to be careful.
Yeah, I know. It is a good habit to be in because my players instantly know when there's a fight.
And just so you know, this man is not carrying a gun. This is just like this token is really good
It's just his
representation of him, except for the gun. So
Yeah.
Okay.
this is both a house and a storefront. So it is very clear you can walk in, and when you do, you're greeted by a man. How old is he at this point? Let me see. I think he's 20s to 30s.
What's his name?
Johnstone Kenyatta.
Kenyatta.
He's 32. So he's in his
Okay.
early 30s here.
So he's old.
Well, if this were an anime, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that because all of us are in our mid-20s in this game to early 20s.
Mm-hmm. He's not as old as Victor, though.
No.
Oh.
Victor is a creepy old man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was true when he was 18.
Yep.
That's true.
And when you enter his office, he'll look at you warily and say, "Hello, how can I help you? Are you looking for supplies or?"
Actually, we're here more to ask a few questions, if that's all right. We are friends of Mr. Jonathan Hammer.
He had been looking at you somewhat warily. Now he actually studies. He looks you all over, up and down, and he says, Can you come speak to me where it's more private?"
Absolutely.
He will guide you in. There are several other people working in here, and also some customers, and you can see there's some school children sitting down at those desks. He will
Okay.
lead you He will lead you to an office.
The children are ghosts.
I did not throw down tokens all over the map because it just makes it load more slowly. In a lot of these scenes, there's a lot more people bustling around than are represented.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then he will greet you. He'll introduce himself as Kenyatta. He will listen to your introductions and then ask you to elaborate. Now, how much detail do you feel like going into? You don't need to actually go through the story, but just tell me what you're actually telling him.
Telling him that unfortunately Mr. Jonathan Hammer did pass away in New York, and that we are here as some of his friends trying to follow up on a bunch of his notes, which were incomplete to incomprehensible. And that we are familiar with the incidents of dangerous cults involved in much of this.
I am sorry to hear of his death, but I'm not surprised. I saw doom on him.
Oh?
Care to elaborate?
When I was young, I lived with my grandfather, who was a wise man. I know only some of what he knew, but I think enough for now. Some of the old ways are cruel. And there are gods here who do not belong here.
I think we could certainly agree on that.
It's ironic, as I strain towards your heritage, you reach for mine. All right. I did not want to burden my friend with a difficult gift, such as Mr. Hammer presented when he came here. But I think your destinies are unfinished. Don't know. You might have great victories left to live for. You might undergo tragedies as great as can befall a mortal man. But I have a friend, Bundari, that I think you should meet. I know something of the Bloody Tongue. I know something of the Mountain of Black Wind. But he can tell you all. Will you trust me?
See why not?
It's not a matter of trust. It's a
It
matter
will
of necessity.
All right. He excuses himself for a moment, steps out of his office. So if you want, you have a moment to talk amongst yourselves before he returns. But if not, he can return.
Birdie just tapping her finger on her hidden pistol. Because she does keep it hidden, even though open carry's perfectly fine around here.
I'm very uncomfortable with how many people are asking me to trust them lately.
He comes back a moment later. He says, if everything you've told me is true, you've had many victories already. You've done more than most people can manage. So I am glad to have met A friend waits for you outside. You need to follow him at a distance. If he stops and waits, you must stop and wait. You will make sure that you are not left behind. When he is going to enter a door with yellow paint. You will also enter it swiftly and without hesitation. He's going to hold his hand up to shake each of your hands.
Alright.
And then he will lead you all outside.
All right.
There is a little ways down the street. There is a remarkably tall man in white shirt and pants, but no shoes.
Okay.
He will motion for you to follow the man and say, "Good day, my friends."
Good day.
Good day. Thank you very much.
Now, let me just find. There we go. Don't worry, you're not on screen yet, so you definitely can't see.
Okay.
But I will toss you down now.
Hey.
And now you all should be able to see.
Yep.
I see a door.
Weird.
I see two
Birdie's
doors.
just blind. It's fine.
It doesn't matter that much for the moment. It might in a bit. He is going to lead you into Swahili Town again, and you will, after heading some distance down the street, he will lead you off into those huts and ramshackle buildings towards the north end of the screen. And you'll start weaving in between buildings.
All right.
Kinda like over here.
Yeah. You asked about that creepy feeling, James.
Hmm.
You start to feel it again as you're wandering through these buildings. You are not sure if you're just feeling curious eyes upon you because there's a whole bunch of people clearly not expecting you to be wandering through their neighborhood, or if there's somebody more sinister watching you at the moment. So, what do you intend to do with that information?
I will just probably mutter under my breath what I was told, how we're supposed to how to operate when going through here.
Just
Follow at a distance.
Mm-hmm. Every so
Don't
often,
hesitate.
every so often, he stops and talks to some people,
We stop.
just like people outside their houses. Okay. And after leading you on a twisting and turning road, he enters a building with a yellow door.
All right. Walk up to it and enter without hesitation.
Yep.
Inside is a yellow Rolls Royce, but don't let that fool you. It is not in great shape. It is. People have been. People have clearly been working to keep this thing running.
All right.
Okay.
Connor takes off his hat in respect for the fourth man.
Your guide holds the door open for each of you. Connor, are you going to jump in the driver's seat, or are you going to get the passenger seat?
Oh, would muscle memory take over?
You probably don't get a lot of chances to drive a Rolls Royce.
True. Yeah. He would walk towards the driver's seat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you get in the driver's seat, the guy's gonna stop and look at you, but accept it. You get the sense he doesn't actually speak English. So, arguing with you would be difficult. He lets you all into the car. He sits next to Connor then. Bertie, you're going to have to be in the back.
Okay.
And Connor, he will give you directions by pointing. He opens up the door, points for you to head out, closes up the garage door behind you. And then you set out driving out of the city. For a long time. Let's see. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is
Connor's
not...
gonna try to figure out the way back, by the way. He is watching every turn, every slope, just to see if he can find a way back if things turn bad.
I'll probably also be doing the same.
Oh yeah. We've been out in the middle of nowhere enough times. We need to know the way back.
We are all on edge.
Then
Connor's got both hands on the steering wheel.
why don't you all go ahead and make navigation rolls? We'll see how well you can remember it.
It won't go well.
I mean,
Navigate.
this isn't a thing where you can get screwed over. It's just seeing how well you do it. Hey, good job, Connor.
Yeah, Connor's actually pretty good at this.
Bertie is not.
Okay. So yeah, Connor, you feel confident you can make your way back. The other two, about 3 or 4 turns through Swahili Town, you've lost all sense of where you are.
I'm trusting Connor.
Yeah, Connor looks confident while he's driving.
So the thing about
he is enjoying the vehicle.
the thing about this car is it's not topless. The windows are small.
Yeah.
Air conditioning has not been invented yet. Fans have not been invented yet. It is hot and it is stuffy, and you are in here for an hour as you head out on dirt roads.
Bertie just pulls out a fan at one point.
And he directs you to a remote village and holds up his hand for you to stop just outside of a circle of huts. He gets out and heads over towards... He gets out, but he motions for all of you to stay in the car. And he heads over towards a hut. And while he's gone, a whole bunch of children come running over. And they're like standing up around the car and peeking inside, trying to get it. Like, they don't see cars very often, and they're short.
Bertie's just gonna lean over to the window and just go.
Yeah, they start giggling and whispering to each other. One of the little kids is going to, when you go boom, he's going to and run away. But it's not like terror, it's just, oh, something surprising happened.
Just a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a silly little kid thing.
Yeah.
And after a moment, your guide will come back with another young man. You see, they're conversing not in English as they come over towards you, but you can see that your guide is trying to convince the other man of something. And then they'll come over to you, and your guide will point to the man he brought with you. He'll say, "Okombu."
Okombo. Bertie will nod to him.
And
Motion as though she's going to get out of the car, and like look at him questioningly. Can we get out yet?
He doesn't confirm or deny, but he says, Why do you want to speak to Bindari?
Oh, there's so many reasons. Birdie's just gonna think for a very long moment. We've seen the god that wants to eat the world.
He looks at you, he gauges your truthfulness, and he says, "Come with me." And he will... let me see, I'll drop you all on this map as well now. There's so many maps.
Yay! So many maps.
And he will
All
lead
the
you
maps.
into the only hut that doesn't have a roof. It does really, but, you know, it's a useful map. It is larger and constructed in a different fashion than the other huts in this village. Excuse.
Bless you.
There is a gated fence around it. The door is has a curtain over it, but although it doesn't really show on the map I have here, it's formed like a snail's shell. The entrance passage winds all the way around the outside,
All right.
and then it finally merges into a single central room.
Ooh.
The entire way in, it's dark, there's no light, there's no windows, but you can see fetishes and signs and masks all arranged on the walls.
Do any of the masks look familiar?
They do not look like the ones that you saw in New York, no.
Okay.
In the central
Yeah.
room, you see more signs and symbols carefully arranged into patterns. And across from the interior door, there is a small old man, sitting cross-legged, so still that he seems to be dead. And when you enter, Okomu goes over to the old man and bends down next to him and unfolds one of his legs and starts to rub it and massage it. And after he's completed his task, he puts it back in its original position. He pulls the other leg out and does the same thing. James, you, with whatever medical training you apparently have, you would guess he's restoring circulation here.
All right.
While he does this, he explains to you, Vandari is a powerful magician, but as he's worked to strengthen himself, he's become more joined to the other sides. He's not often present here, and when he's not in his body, he needs someone to take care of him, which is my job. In the other places where he's present, he has other servants who perform the same function for his other bodies.
It's a very respectable job.
I try to be worthy of it. If you want to speak to him, you will have to sit here and wait, which will help to draw his attention back to his body. speak a bit, and I will offer you some refreshments. But we can't have conversations because it will draw him back too quickly. That can be dangerous.
Gotcha.
He's going to offer you some peanuts, some milk, and then settle in.
Thank you very much.
After a few hours, some of those children you saw earlier are going to come in with some baked plantains.
Ooh.
You'll be offered some of those as
Alright.
well.
I'll take some.
Is it still stuffy and warm in this place, or is it actually kind of cool?
Yeah, it does actually feel like it's not like a modern air-conditioned room, but it's comfortable in here.
Okay.
It takes a long time. You're here for at least 6 hours. Just sitting in silence in this darkened room with an old man who appears to be dead, and a young man who periodically moves his limbs about and rubs them. And then, out of the corner of your eye, you see the old man's body stiffen, and then swell up as though he's just started breathing.
Alright.
He opens his eyes, and he looks at each of you, and then I'm going to have him just speak in English because it works better.
Fair.
Honestly, if things were going to continue where I did not know what was going to happen, Connor would absolutely break out the ineffable comprehension.
I was about to say
Like,
I could attempt to try and speak using insane.
not being able to communicate got him to be able to drive a Rolls Royce, but now it's serious.
There will be lots more opportunities for that later.
I know, but
He will-
like Connor would pass up any opportunity, you know?
Mhm. Birdie, he looks you
Yes.
in the eyes and he says, Birdie, give my compliments to your father. Connor, I appreciate that you're learning some caution. And James, I'm so sorry about your parents.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Does that feel like a good stopping point for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Hey, I'm glad to receive one compliment before I probably get arrested.
How in the hell does this guy know our names? Of course I know how he knows our names. He's wild. I want to know how he knows my father. Hello?
That would be an interesting thing, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Just in that instant, I was like, "Oh God, please tell me Birdie's dad is not involved in this in any way."
If he is, it's on the good side, because that man can barely take care of himself. Just like the rest of the heroes.
Alright, anything else to say before we jump off the air and say goodnight?
Fuck colonialism.
Tell everybody, talk to people that you trust before you make an important decision.
Hey, good advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good advice, Joey. Where's the gun pointing at you out of the screen?
God.
Thanks for playing, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for running.
It's always fun.
Always fun.
And good night.
Buenas noches.